The next question we have here is, the Bible is clear that it's a sin to get drunk, so drunkenness, but is it a sin to drink alcohol? And I remember there was, I think it's on YouTube where, I forget who it was, I think it was specifically somebody even asked about like NyQuil, you know. So maybe that's something that we can, hey, it's true, man. Yeah.
Oh, I'm a big NyQuil person. I think I even said, that was one of the first things I said to you, Pastor Jonathan. I think because you were sick or something, I gave you some NyQuil. I said I'm a big NyQuil supporter. No, it helps. Now they have the ZQuil, and that's just to fall asleep, and that's a little questionable. But anyway, you know, it is one of those things that in my family, I have been touched by alcoholics. I know my personal, maybe more addictive nature. I mean, I love Diet Coke. I don't want to be separated from Diet Cokes. That could be an addiction. And if ever the Lord convicts me, if the Lord, not Brother Herb, convicts me otherwise, then I will, of course, obey. But yes, it's like you have to consider the personality. My personality is more addictive to that, and my family history would prove that that is not a wise thing for me to in any way have. So I'm a teetotaler. And I also know that I've had to purpose in my heart that I would never drink past the time that I had rededicated my life to the Lord. I knew that was completely against God's will for me to do. And so just in 2019, we went on a cruise. And I was not expecting this, but I was glad that we had purposed in our hearts that that's the way we were going to be. Because as soon as you walk in on the cruise, as you're taking that first step onto the cruise, they hand you champagne. And as soon as we identified what it was, oh no, thank you. We went to Cancun with the boys 2 years ago, and they handed my boys champagne. And it's just, they're like, Mom, what is this, apple juice? I'm like, okay, give it back to them, you know, But it is something that you have to have a plan ahead of time. And for me, I know it is sin if I ever were to touch it.
Good. I would add on to that and say that we do want to make a distinction between alcohol for medicinal purposes and then like recreational or beverage alcohol in social settings. Because there's a couple times in Scripture where it does talk about, a little wine for thy stomach's sake. That's Paul's writing to Timothy. And I think wine was involved in the way that the Good Samaritan ministered to the one that was robbed there. I mean, there's a couple passages in Scripture that seem to be, that kind of highlight the medicinal benefit of alcoholic beverages. So if you've got a doctor who says, yeah, this is something, you've got a real problem and this is actually going to meet your need, that's one thing. But overall in Scripture, the conclusion I see when it comes to like social drinking or beverage alcohol, recreational consumption of alcohol, is that it is the drink of a fool. And it is on like several levels, okay? So like, just the most obvious physically, drinking is a foolish thing to do physically because it destroys your liver. It's just bad stewardship of your body. It's empty calories. It's not fueling you. Just on a physical level, and you're not even drunk. I'm just talking about consuming it recreationally. It's a foolish thing to do on a physical level. Then, I would say it is on a social level as well. Because you do drink just a little and you might not be drunk, but you can start buzzing a little bit. On a social level, people, want their inhibitions to be released. And so they start to drink and then they kind of loosen up a little bit socially. And really, you don't need to be loosened up socially. Usually nothing good comes after that. So I think on a social level, it's the drink of a fool. And then mentally, it is again the drink of a fool. It doesn't help you mentally stay sharp or anything like that. So on several levels, it's the drink of a fool. And then the Bible plainly says that wine is a mocker, and strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. And so I think you're flirting with disaster. You may have an addictive personality, and you don't really know if you do until you start doing it, and then all of a sudden you're addicted. Alcoholism touched her family personally. certainly touched my family growing up, but then she and I got to serve at a rescue mission for 8 years where it touched dozens, hundreds of lives. And a lot of those men, it's incredible how successful they were before they started socially drinking and were addicted and got drunk. I mean, guys with $200,000 a year jobs. One man I'm thinking of in specific was the vice president of a large construction company in Indianapolis, and had a great family and a loving wife, and then started going on these social events and started drinking, and then started drinking more and more and started doing it secretly. Ended up being a vice that controlled him, and his family falls apart, and he ends up homeless, living in a rescue mission in Indianapolis, Indiana. And so, and then plus two, I think you add in Romans 14. You add in the idea of, does it cause offense to my brother? And on that level, it'd be a foolish thing for Christian people to be involved in just sitting in a restaurant and ordering alcohol. Because I wonder how many people, I'm going to poll the audience here, how many people in this church, if you walked into a restaurant that serves alcohol and you saw my wife and I sitting in that restaurant and we had alcoholic beverages, how many of you that would offend you or deeply bother you? Would you raise your hand? Yeah. That's most of you, not all of you. And I appreciate the honesty, but if you're one of those that say, oh, that wouldn't bother me, but did you see how many hands that said it would bother them? And it could potentially, if they see the pastor, their spiritual leader, and his wife doing something like that, it would violate their soul liberty in some ways, that it could cause offense, cause a brother to stumble. So I think, that Proverbs 20, verse 1, wine is a mocker and strong drink is raging, and I think you apply Romans 14, and you just realize physically, emotionally, and mentally, it really is the drink of a foolish person.